shout out Rowan whenever you're ready.
I don't know why I'm running anymore.
Right, so Shaun Finn, thank you so much for joining us today and for coming to our interview. So, do you want to give us a little introduction about yourself and who you are?
Yeah. Hi, Kate. Thanks very much for having me on Music PR Box. So I'm a songwriter. I wouldn't call myself a singer-songwriter, although I am singing. I'm a songwriter from Danch in Dublin, and I'm just about to release my debut single, Live My Life. This interview will probably be out by the time that the song's out. So please go and stream it. It's called Live My Life. There's a video of it. The reason I decided to post it was because there was a video of it that I put that I done live back in March, like about 2 weeks before lockdown. Like coronavirus had kind of just started coming into Ireland, and we weren't sure what the story was, and we done this gig, and there was a video of me, and I posted it on my Instagram. The reaction I got was just amazing. So that kind of gave me a kick to be like, hold on, there might be something here. So I said I'd do my best, and I'm releasing a debut single. But so that's about as interesting as I get. I sit here, I write songs, and I go to work. I'm still a worker. I'm kind of lucky in that sense that I still work, and not like most musicians. Like if they were just going full time music, they'd no work. At least I still have a bit of income.
So they keep you sane as well.
Yeah, keep me sane too. Yeah, like I had about 2 months off, and then my job called me back, and they were like, right, come on, let's get busy. Which I was delighted with. Only this week is the first week that I've got in less than 5 days, or 4 days, so that's fine. That's probably me.
So how do you juggle work alongside the music, like alongside like all your music stuff, like writing, like obviously like writing songs and like releasing them and stuff? How do you
Yeah, like it started off very like I suppose when I started writing songs, I was like, I'm writing songs for other people, whereas eventually that became the wrong thing. I just ended up getting really frustrated with myself and what I was writing. But in terms of like the balance, so like I'm also still in college, and I do music in college. I suppose that's been a good, kind of kick up the arse really. Be able to, put more focus into music, because I'd be doing music 5 days a week in college, and then I'd come to work 2 or 3 days a week as well. But obviously before coronavirus. And it gave me those 5 days that I could come in, I could go to college, and I could focus. And even if I had a break an hour or two between lectures, because I'm just loving what I'm doing so much, I can spend that time. I'd sit there, I'd write songs, or like I'd play around with little guitar loops, or just small little things, and just interact with other people and see what other people are thinking, and just vibe off them. Like, and write songs with other people as well. There's a couple of songs that I've written with some people from college as well. None that I'm particularly using, but like when I was in bands, because I've been in a lot of bands over the years. So I was able to kind of put music to a forefront, because I suppose it was like 5 days a week on music, and then 2 days a week on work, and and then when I'd get in from work, I wasn't doing much music stuff. But when I came home from college, I was still doing music stuff, because I'd be working on an assignment. I just want to write a song, because we've been talking about songs all day,
Yeah.
That's how this song "Live My Life" came about. It was a case of, they said, "Oh, have a song ready for next week," and it was the night before, and I watched the Chelsea match, because I'm a Chelsea fan. And I was like, oh crap, I need to have something for tomorrow. And I wrote Live My Life in the space of 10 minutes. And I don't really like writing when there's somebody else in my house.
Yeah.
I like to be able to kind of like voice myself and make mistakes and that sort of stuff. Whereas I hate when my mother's home when I'm writing songs, because and she's just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, no. But I wrote it really quietly. I brought it in the next day, and it just got a fantastic reaction. And then 2 weeks later, I played at the gig. And yeah, well, sorry to go back to the question. That's how I kind of work. Like, it's 5 days a week, it's music, and then 2 days a week, it's 2 or 3 days, depending on when I'm in work. Usually,
you have a good balance there, anyway. Yeah.
I do. Yeah, I did have it quite handy, to be fair.
Yeah. That's good.
It was nice to be able to balance myself and put a lot more attention to music.
Yeah.
I was doing a different college course, because I was also considering doing journalism and history, whereas so say if I'd gone and done history, I'd be focusing on that, and then coming home and I'd have to do assignments, then I'd want to write songs, whereas because I went down the music route, I've learned so much, and I wouldn't be in the position I am, so I wouldn't be releasing music at this stage. Even at the start of this year, I didn't think I'd be releasing music, to be quite honest, because I didn't think I was a good enough songwriter, whereas after I wrote Live My Life, I kind of took on this new level, and then there's more to come. You'll see.
So I think it's a very, very good song as well. Anyway, like, because I was listening to the little preview that you sent me on my emails, and I thought it was beautifully written. So what was the inspiration behind the single?
Oh, now I'll be honest with you, I don't like telling people what. I'll tell you like the process behind it, but I don't actually like to say this is what this song's about, because I hate finding out what my favorite songs are about.
Yeah.
For example, Kate, me and you are big fans of the Coronas. And I'm not going to tell people, that anybody who writes, I'm not going to tell you, in case they're like me, what the song was about. But I heard Danny and Noxie talk about what the song was actually about, and I said, oh, now when I listen to that song, I think of that, and I don't think of what I initially thought.
I think like what you're saying is right, because like every time someone listens to a song, each person takes like a different kind of unique kind of perspective from that song and a different meaning, you know?
Exactly. Like a great example of that is Shaun Finn Supernova. But Oasis, like, obviously me and you being huge Oasis fans, you can see Noel Gallagher and the set lists from the gigs that I went to for Liam. And it's just such, that song means different things to different people. And I love how Noel, over the years in interviews, has never said, this is what I wrote that song about. I love it. And he's never really ever said, I wrote this song about this, except Talk Tonight is a really good example of a song that this was about this, about when he went off with a girl. I think it's not what people think it's about. That's what I think is really weird about the song, because I wrote the song and it sounds, even I listen to it myself sometimes, and I say, it's kind of, it does sound like this, and if you take the lyrics on a basics, like, from a very vanilla look at it on a piece of paper, it looks like this, but I actually wrote the song about something completely differently, and it was more got to do with college. They said, we'd like this kind of theme because of stuff that was going on at the moment. And, because I have a songwriting class, and they don't obviously say it was, write a song this way and this is the formula. It's more like just express yourself, and we'll show each other our songs in the one room. And my teacher had said to me, go and write a song loosely based on this. And then I kind of went into the subcategory of it. And I don't want to say exactly what the song is about, because it's a bit anticlimactic as well. Like,
Yeah, no, it's a very good answer. It's a very good answer. Like, just let people like believe what they want to believe, and like,
it's about wherever you want it to be. If it's about your cat, Kate, it's about your cat.
Let me cat, my cat does want to make me live my life.
There we go.
So you mentioned like the likes of the Coronas and Oasis. Would they be like your main influences or inspirations, or do you have any others?
Yeah, so I think from a songwriting perspective, I think my biggest influences would definitely be Alex Turner from the Arctic Monkeys.
That's a very good shout, yeah.
And probably Dave Grohl as well, because when I try, especially after I've written a song, I try and think of how I'm going to take this to a band. And, Live My Life is an acoustic song where it's just me, it's just vocals and 2 guitar tracks, and that's that. But, there's some other stuff that's coming out later on in the year that's going to be a full band setup that I played everything except drums. My good friend Aaron came in and played drums on a lot of the songs. And, it's just, I kind of like think of, like, from a lyrical point of view, I just think Alex Turner is one of the best around. There's obviously the obvious greats like Bob Dylan, and there's John Lennon and Paul McCartney. I personally think Lennon is just the best. It's Lennon McCartney. And I obviously have to take some inspiration from Noel. I probably rob more of Noel's chords. I'd say, I'd honestly say from like a point blank perspective, I think Alex Turner is probably my biggest influence for when I'm sitting down with my acoustic guitar and I'm just sitting there. I'm trying to, like not even trying to make things rhyme, just come up with melodies and different chord sequences. I see a lot of Arctic Monkeys in there without trying to rip Arctic Monkeys off. Steal his songwriting, nothing like the last Shadow Puppets now, which are amazing.
Yeah.
Him and Miles Kane. But I have to say, I'd probably say my biggest one being Alex Turner, and then once I kind of have the song written, I'd say I'd probably put Dave Grohl into that category then of like how I'd bring it to a band and how I want to arrange the whole song as one piece.
Yeah. That's a good answer, because like I'm a huge Arctic Monkeys fan as well, so
yeah,
Alex Turner would be up there. What has been your?
I'm fuming that I've only seen them once live.
Oh, same here.
I've seen so many other acts so many times. Foo Fighters and Arctic Monkeys have been some of the best bands I've ever gone to see. Foo Fighters has been the best band I've ever seen live.
Really, yeah. I saw them in the RDS actually last summer, and actually it was one of the best gigs I've ever been to.
I was at that gig as well. We were both at that gig, and that for me was the best concert I've ever been to.
Oh, it really was something else. Like it was top tier. Like
And like I was down the very, very back because I didn't get tickets when they first went on sale because I'd listened to Foo Fighters a little bit, but I'd not listened to them extensively. And then a band I was in at the time, one of the guys was really, really into them. So I went home and listened to them properly. Like I'd obviously heard like Best of You and Everlong, and I'd heard Monkey Wrench a couple of times, and The Pretender. Pretender was probably the one I knew the most. And I hadn't listened to them that much, but then I went home and listened to a lot of their albums, and I just became obsessed with them. And now they're
yeah,
like, my favorite band now. And I said I have to go and see them, but tickets were gone like that.
oh they were, yeah.
I just never went and got them. And then my friend said, "Oh, I've got a pair of tickets for us." Well, he was finished work at 6:30, and doors opened at 6:30.
Oh,
Down the very, very back, but still, like, and you know me, Kate, like I'm front and center at most concerts.
Yeah.
I'm in that. You know, I love it. I love to take photos. I love to take videos and everything. I love to get
I think
set.
I was in the middle of the crowd at that gig because I got the pitch 2 tickets. I wasn't pitch
Yeah,
1.
I was pitched too as well.
Yeah. So I was kind of in the middle of the crowd, but it was an amazing gig.
It's absolutely fantastic. Like the best song I've ever seen live is Everlong, without a doubt.
Oh yeah, like one of the best.
I record on my phone.
And the next question is, what would be like your favorite musical memory? So that could either be a gig like the Foo Fighters, like that you're just saying, or it can be like a personal gig to you or whatever.
Yeah. So well, my favorite gig ever, like we were just talking about, was Foo Fighters in the RDS last year. A favorite musical memory, it's probably playing Live My Life for the first time, because I was at the time I was like in a real shit spot. Like I just wasn't really doing well. I don't know why. I was having a couple of bad weeks, and maybe the 2 months I wasn't doing well, and I don't know why. I just wasn't, and I was feeling down, and the songs I was writing were really, really bad, and I just wasn't believing in myself, and I was just considering dropping music. I was considering dropping out of college as well. Like I actually gone and said to my mentor here, I'm actually thinking of dropping out. And he said to me, come and do the gig, just do the gig and see how the gig goes. Yeah. I hadn't even written Live My Life at this stage. It's been 3 or 4 weeks before. And I was just really down with myself. I was thinking of quitting my job. I was thinking of quitting college, just getting an office 9 to 5. Thank God I didn't do that now. You know, just looking back on it, because 1, because of coronavirus, and 2, because of what's happened since. And then once I came in, I played Live My Life in a small room. To my peers, like to my teacher and to a couple of, only about 4 or 5 other people, and they all, like, I finished the song and they all were just like in silence, and then they were like, "When did you write that?" I said, "I wrote that last night." They said, "That's the best thing you've ever written." And I just did the reaction I got off, and everybody was talking about it for the rest of the day. And I'd never ever had anything like that for anything I'd ever really done, even in other bands. And just from any I'd never gotten, and I said, right, I need to do this at this live show that we were doing, which had there's a poster up on my Instagram where, like, you know, it's a really, really well done out video. The videography is just amazing, because we had the whole hall set up by the TV crew.
Yeah.
So the setup was just amazing, and I got that amazing video of it. And even I'd done that show, and the reaction I got from the crowd once it finished was amazing. And people kept coming up to me after and saying it was an amazing song, and they were really touched by it. And I'd never ever had that like that in my life. I'd never ever gotten anything like that. Just so, you know, and it really shocked me, because I'd never had that like that. I was really, really shocked by it. You know, so I was just caught up in a moment of awe. And that's kind of what spurred me on to say, hold on, no, I'm staying in college, fuck this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sticking to college. I'm doing my best. Like I got good results in college. Even like everything was pretty much done before. You know, I only had like small things to finish over lockdown and on Zoom calls. You know, I didn't have that much to do, and I was passing college. Like, there wasn't an issue with my grades or anything like that. But it kind of just gave me the kick up the arse that I needed to be like, hold on a minute, no, there's something here now. I need to believe in myself more, whereas I wasn't believing in myself. And it's like, from that point on, it's kind of been a rolling train of, I started writing better songs. Not all songs that are being used, like I've put some up on SoundCloud, and I know they're not great songs. Yeah. But, you know, just kind of testing the water, seeing who's paying attention, who's not paying attention, you know, what I need to improve on. That's why there's a couple of songs, I think I've got 3 or 4 songs up on SoundCloud. One's a cover, and then there's 3 songs that of mine that I want to release, to be like, right, how can I learn from this? And before I go up onto Spotify and these major streaming services, what am I doing right? What do I need to improve on? And what do I need to completely ditch altogether? you know, so it was just a massive learning curve for me. And I think, you know, without that song being written, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. I don't mean in the sense of I'd be dead. I mean in the sense of like I would just be, I've given up. I wouldn't be working in the job that I'm working in now because I just work in a retail job to earn money while I'm in college.
Yeah.
I would have just gone through some other route. And my life would be completely different if it wasn't for that song coming in.
That's mad.
You know, so it's
So I really just like,
5 minutes after
yeah.
Chelsea game, you know.
Oh my god. So the next question is, who would be your dream artist to collaborate with?
I would probably say the Coronas because me and you both know how much I love the Coronas. They're great lads. I'm lucky enough, and me and you are both lucky enough to have a bit of a relationship with them. They're just such nice lads.
They really are.
You know, they're just amazing. And
Just so sound, probably like one of the most soundest bunch of lads in the music industry. You know.
Yeah, but let's say like I've met a lot of people of my time, like, you know, and like, you know, you can reach for the skies and say, oh, like, you know, like I said, Foo Fighters is my favorite band. I could say, oh, I'd love to collaborate with Dave Grohl, or I'd love to collaborate with Alex Turner and Noel Gallagher and all this sort of stuff. But you know, the Coronas were the first band that I ever got into that were like, oh, I like this type of music. Like, you know, I remember I was like 14, 15, and I just like I was going out with my mates, and the music that was there, I just never enjoyed music because they were listening to all this techno and rap, and it just wasn't my thing. And then I went home and listened. A song popped up on my YouTube because I remember it so clearly. A song popped up on my YouTube. I think it was "Mark My Words" by the Coronas, which is a fantastic song. And I went and clicked into it, and then the YouTube algorithm just kept recommending, and I really, really got into the Coronas.
Yeah.
And you know, I was obviously lucky enough to meet them and kind of form a small relationship with them over the years. And yeah, I'd love to collaborate with them. My dream as a songwriter or as an artist, my dream is just to support them in the Olympia because you know, I haven't missed an Olympia in 5 years, and this year obviously looks like it's going to be the first year we're not going to get to go.
I know, it's going to be very sad later, but that's just the way it is at the minute.
Yeah, well, come here, that it's health and safety, you know.
I think the next time we're all back at a gig, we'll all just go mental. It'd be something else, like.
There's been a couple of times where I've been close to tears, just wanting to go back to a concert.
Oh, same here. Like just watching videos back on your phone, like I'm just bringing it to tears nearly.
There's been so many friends, and there's been so many amazing people that I've met just from going to gigs, like yourself, Kate.
Yeah.
We met on the shoot of a music video, and we're still friends because you know, over the years we've gone to gigs together, we've just bumped into each other, and blah blah. And like without that music scene, we wouldn't be friends. Like, you know,
that's it.
You know?
Like most of the people I know have been people that I met through music, like, you know.
Actually, like, and there's no point in bringing it. I don't know about this whole social distance gigs thing. I wouldn't.
Yeah, like it's not the same. Like,
but like the whole thing of it is you're singing and you're dancing with people you don't know, and people you're meeting for the first time, and you're shrugging shoulders and you're having a nice time, and you're not sitting there thinking, I need to keep my distance from them.
Yeah.
Take your hold on it.
I know, yeah.
Like that, you know.
Even the virtual gigs, like I paid for a few virtual gigs, and even that's just, you know, like.
I haven't paid for any gigs now. I don't know if I would, to be honest with you. There's
no. I know it's far from what we used to have, you know.
Total are the only band that I kind of have an interest in that have done that.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not paying 20 quid to watch a live stream, like, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, so what would be your dream venue to play? So, and what was the first venue you ever played?
My dream venue is the Olympia, and as I said previously, to support the Coronas in the Olympia. I'd love to sell out the Olympia myself, but I kind of want to be realistic in my expectations.
Yeah, maybe a couple of years time down the road.
Yeah, you know, I think it's the first thing I want to check off is I'd love to support the Coronas in the Olympia.
Like just kick off your career by doing that.
That is just me amazing. I'd love to do that. If I could do that in the next 5 years, I think that would be
amazing.
You know.
Yeah.
I know I've got a lot to do, and even though I do have a bit of a relationship with them, I can't just text them and say, "Hey, can I come support you?" It's because other people who have been working for far longer who deserve that opportunity way more than me. You know, the likes of True Tides who are good mates with them, and you know, I know Hudson Taylor have sold them out, but like, you know, just bands around like, you know, that level, or even just a little bit smaller, like your friends, buddy, brand new friends. That's the band even like, you know, bands like that. and artists like that who are up and coming that deserve the shot way more
Yeah.
than I do right now. And it would be unfair of me to just text them and be like, "Hey, can I come support you?" Because it's not fair.
Yeah.
You know, the best I've played so far would be a toss between the ABH in Ballyfermot, which is where that video was filmed. That's up on my Instagram. It's a lovely venue, and the sound quality in there is amazing. It's really, really big. But it's just lovely. Like, you know, when the lights are on, it's like it just seems like a smaller, kind of more enclosed version of Vicar Street that can hold about 500 people.
Yeah.
But it was also pretty great when in one of my previous bands we played in Dunboyne Castle, and we played up to about 1,000 people, and it was great. It was a really, really beautiful venue. We were all dressed up in suits, so we all looked really, really well, and it was just a nice vibe. You know, some people did start leaving once the ceremony finished and we came on, but you know, there was a couple of people that stayed. I thought it just looked great. Like, you know, I'm kind of like, I'm kind of upset that there's not many great videos of that. There's kind of one video of a couple of songs. Like, no, it's just the one angle. It's not a great angle just because of the way the seating was. But if I had a video like what we had for the ABH, but yeah, probably ABH and Dunboyne Castle are probably the two best for me personally, anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, the Olympia would be amazing to set out though. That would be like,
yeah, that's the kind of dream. Because the Olympia is my favorite venue in the world.
The Coronas there would be class. So, what was the first record you ever bought?
The first vinyl that I ever bought now, because I'm a massive vinyl collector.
Yeah.
First
vinyl as well, yeah.
I bought this vinyl. I didn't even have a vinyl player. I just bought it because I loved the album and I loved the artwork of it, and it was Chasing Yesterday by Noel Gallagher.
Oh.
I just love that record. I don't know why. I think it's just so chill, and
it is. It really is.
Chill record.
Amazing record, like.
Probably my favorite solo Noel Gallagher records. And yeah, I bought this without even having a record player. Like, and now I've got a massive sound system here. All over my desk, and I've got records coming in the post every 2 days. Like, you know, my ma is actually sick of it. my ma is
very expensive though. Like, some of them are quite expensive, but they're worth it.
Records, because they're paying in the arse for the postman. Like, but yeah, that's the first record I bought. But I remember the first CDs I bought were Corona CDs.
Yeah.
I remember when I first met the lads, and I was so you must remember me that day. Do you remember the photo that was taken of me shaking Danny's hand for the first time? You took that photo, and I was absolutely bricking myself meeting them and talking to them, and just, you know, just.
Yeah, I think like the first time you do meet like your favorite artist, it's a bit like nerve-wracking at first, like, you know.
At the time, they were rock stars. Like, they were like, oh my god, like they're massive. Like, my head was blown. Like, you know, I was 17 at the time when I met them, and my head was blown. I'd never met a celebrity before in my life, and now, you know, again, now I'm kind of quite casual with it. Like, you know, the only person I've ever gotten extremely nervous with again was when I met Noel Gallagher, and I actually started crying when I met Noel Gallagher. But yeah, I brought all the CDs up to them, and they said we've never had anybody bring literally every CD that we've ever brought out. I got them to sign them all. But yeah, the first record probably being Chasing Yesterday, and then first like CDs. Like, I would have bought me CDs before because I wasn't collecting records. Probably were Corona CDs, or maybe a Shane Ward album when I was like 10. I don't know.
I think mine was probably Shane Ward one as well.
We all loved a good bop to Shane Ward now. Come on.
we did.
My mother actually took me to see Shane Ward in Croke Park, and I think we stayed there for about 20 minutes, and I got sick of it, and we left. Because I was only like 9 or 10, and he was playing. I think he was supporting somebody in Croke Park. I think it was.
Holy Wrestling or something like that.
I think we arrived when he already came on, and then I think it was like his second to last song or something, and we just left. I remember my mum being fuming with me as well. I was really young though.
Oh my god.
Now, yeah.
So, what was the first song you learned to perform?
First song I learned to play guitar was "I'm Yours" by Jason Mraz.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, I remember being so happy with myself that I'd learned 4 chords. Because I wrote my first song before I could play a song.
Yeah.
Really. I started playing guitar in Christmas of 2016.
Yeah.
So, you know, 2015 and 2016. So basically January 2016 I started learning to play the guitar. And you know, I'd spent a few weeks, because I was in transition here at the time, in fourth year, for anybody who doesn't know what transition year is. And so I'd spent like 3 or 4 weeks kind of learning a couple of chords and kind of familiarizing myself. And like I hadn't learned a song yet. I'd kind of gone, okay, that's D, that's G, that's this, blah, blah, blah. And I was kind of just figuring it out. I didn't get any lessons either. I just taught myself how to play because I just got a chord book. So I just taught myself off the chord book. And I hadn't looked at any songs yet because I was like, I can barely play these chords, never mind any songs.
Yeah.
Then we went back into school, and the transition year thing, they were doing like a song school thing. And I was like, oh, I'm a musician now. Also, I'm a musician, I can play guitar. And then I walked in, and then people could actually play instruments. There was like 4 other guitar players, and 3 of them. So I think there was 5 guitar players in total, and 4 of them were in my group. We'd no drummer, we'd no bass player. We had 4 guitarists, and there was one other guy who could play guitar who was in a different group. But I don't even think he was like mainly a guitarist. I think he was like a DJ kind of thing, but he just could play guitar. So we never brought his guitar in. And I wrote a song, which is actually produced to a pretty okay standard. Now, the song is terrible. It is an absolutely horrible song. But I obviously couldn't write guitar solos back then. And the guitar solo that the guy wrote is absolutely unbelievable. And I still, to this day, come back and listen to it. It's so good. And like the lyrics are so cringy. The singing is terrible. Like everything about it is just horrible. But the music behind it, and I remember at the time everybody being like, if you took the vocals off it, it'd actually be a pretty decent little tune.
Yeah.
So I take credit for the music part behind that because I was kind of going and kind of just like kind of scrapping together a couple of chords, and then somebody threw in a bar chord, and I said, "Hold on a minute." Friend suggested B, and I was like, "Hold on a minute, no, B is a bit too advanced because that was a bar chord, and I could barely play the open chords at that stage."
Oh.
But the B went into it, and then because obviously they played on the actual thing because I could barely strum me chords. I was kind of going, whatever, you know. Yeah, but that was my I wrote my first song all the way back then.
Oh my god.
Oh man, the last time, it was called The Last Time. That's what it was called.
Last time.
Yeah, it was. It could have been. I've heard a lot worse first songs. You know, it's no Mr. Brightside for a song by a band. But sure, look,
You're learning.
obviously, yeah. There you go. 3 weeks in, it was okay.
So if you could change anything about the music industry, what would it be?
Well, obviously we have coronavirus at the moment, so you know we'd like to get that back
going. Yeah.
I don't think there's. I don't know. Like, it's so hard to say what I'd change because, like, you know, like that could benefit me, but it might knock somebody else. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I think it's a very level playing field. Like, you know, and we kind of had this discussion a lot in college last year, where you've like disadvantage and there's obviously the conversation around like women in the music industry and how, you know, it's harder for them to find some exposure, and then when they do get exposed, they can be overexposed then, and their sexuality can be taken advantage of, and that's something that we obviously like to change.
Yeah.
I think, you know, I'm not personally actually a big fan of Billie Eilish, her music, but I love her attitude and her persona. You know, I'd sit there and watch her interviews, but I wouldn't really listen to her music that much.
Yeah.
I have listened to her music. I'm not the biggest fan, but I love her persona. I love how she carries herself and puts herself out there. You know, I love it. So, you know, that's probably one of the few things I wish I could change because, you know, I know myself. I only know maybe about 3 or 4 female musicians that are, you know, about the same size as me, or maybe a bit bigger, or maybe a bit smaller than me. Whereas I know so many lads doing it, you know. So
Thing as well, I think a lot of people listen.
They're just I'm probably just paying more attention towards the lads just
I
because.
think a lot of people listen to male artists as well, and like, because I listen to both female and male. Like, I love the likes of Dua Lipa, Billie Eilish, Taylor Swift, and all that myself. But I do listen to a lot of like male acts like Oasis, Caption Bottom, and you know, all those. So no, I think like you're right. Like there has to be some kind of equality there, and kind of.
Especially more in the rock scene, because I think in the pop scene there's quite a lot of female artists. So I think it's very
Ariana Grande as well and stuff. Yeah.
Pop scene, there's so many female artists, like you said, like you mentioned, there, Dua Lipa, Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, Billie Eilish, you know, Beyonce. You know, we could go on in the pop scene, but then when you go to the rock scene, I can't think of any bands that are a good music scene that have a female lead singer or are just full of female leads. I know just that there's Sea Girls or something like that.
Big Girls are all male.
Are they?
Yeah. They're only new, and they're got
There you go.
yeah.
I just knew the name. There's one band I know that has a female lead, and it's one of my friends' bands.
Yeah.
It's the guy who done drums for me, Aaron. It's his band, Ringside Theatre. They have a female lead. But I feel in the rock scene, there's only been a handful of big acts that I can think of, like the Cranberries. Like the Cranberries would be one of my favourite bands.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm always as the lead singer of them. And you have I can't like it's just I think it's something that has to change mainly in our rock kind of thing, you know, because I think in pop there's a lot more female artists, but there's also just as many male artists, like, you know, and even with them they're getting like, you know, they're getting sexualized, fuck, like, you know, except Billie Eilish is the only one.
There.
So like that's the one thing I'd probably change.
So, have you been to any concerts within the last year when gigs were a thing, and have they inspired you in any way?
Yeah, massively. So I don't know if you can see the poster there, but that's we keep talking about the Coronas, but what can I say? I love the Coronas, and I love you know, go listen to the new album, True Love Waits. It's amazing. But like I said, I was in a pretty. I just wasn't. I don't know. I just wasn't particularly happy over those few months from November to March. I wasn't. I was just in a bad spot. I wasn't really doing well. I was just down. And I always am at winter. I think, like, you know, everybody talks about, like, you know, seasonal depression. I don't say that now. But I hate the winter time. I don't really like Christmas that much.
Yeah, I'm
And,
the same.
you know, I don't like the winter because it just you're getting up for college.
Getting home, so yeah, the days are shorter.
I just don't like the
Yeah.
without getting into too much details, I just wasn't really that well. And I always am at Christmas. I never really like that time of year until it kind of starts getting bright again.
You can proud of people, especially with the whole pressure of like money and stuff as well, having to buy people presents, like, you know.
Yeah. No, so I've never really been a massive fan of just that period of the year, and then even January, February after, you kind of just feel like you're always kind of catching up from after Christmas.
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
a lot of things as well, like, you know, that I won't go too much into, but I was lucky enough to be able to attend every single one of the gigs that happened, and they really like they were the times where I went to these gigs and I was on top of the world. I could not have been happier, really.
Yeah.
And like it was a break from college and from work and from people I knew. Like I was going to these, I think I only went to gigs with people 2 times or 3 times. Every other time I went by myself. I don't mind going to gigs by myself. I love it, to be honest. I don't mind going to a gig by myself at all. Sometimes I enjoy it. Like, I'm sure you've done it yourself.
So do I, yeah, because like I go to many gigs by myself just because like I know that if I don't go, I'll end up regretting it.
Yeah,
You know?
there you go. Like,
Who knows when the next time they'll be heard again as well.
it doesn't matter. The only part about that matters about when you're at a gig alone. If you're not on the barrier, you have to stand there by yourself for maybe half an hour and not talk to people. But you're in a room with people who have a very common interest with you. They all love this band or love this act that you're going to see.
Yeah.
You know, so you'll always make friends. And like I've made so many friends from going to Corona's gigs. Like, and like, you know yourself who they are, and I don't need to even mention their names.
Yeah.
Know some as well, because you just make these friends, and they're friends for life as well. Like, it's like, okay,
Definitely.
I go to that Corona's gig, I know I'll see them there at some stage, whether I'm standing beside them or they're across the room from me over there, giving them a quick wave. There they are, and they're your mates then, like,
Exactly.
Those set of gigs, particularly Vicar Street was amazing. Like Vicar Street was just the best I've ever seen. It was absolutely absolutely in awe over, because their mom Mary Black came out and she done a song. Gabrielle Applin came out and done Lost in the Thick of It, and that was the first time I'd heard that song as well. And Gavin James came out and done Heroes, and he done Always as well. It was just absolutely fantastic. Like, so I'd say that entire period of those gigs there were just absolutely amazing and really inspired me. But that particular gig at Vicar Street was just something else.
Yeah, something else. So, who would be your favourite Irish artist at the minute? Would they still be the Coronas yet?
Well, probably the Coronas, yeah. Be a toss-up between the Coronas and the Cranberries.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'd definitely say I sit down and listen to Coronas records more than I listen to Cranberries records. Not that I don't sit down and listen to Cranberries records, I do all the time. But
yeah,
I maybe 2 or 3 times a week listen to Coronas, maybe once every week or 2 for the Cranberries, like, But probably I'd say I don't want to keep going on. Because we a lot of Coronas has definitely been my favorite Irish artist.
So if you could invite 5 musicians to dinner, dead or alive, who would they be?
Okay, John Lennon. Dave Grohl. They're all musicians, yeah?
Yeah, they can be musicians, yeah. All musicians, yeah.
Musicians, okay. John Lennon, Dave Grohl, probably Noel Gallagher, you know, because
Yeah.
we've enough room for Noel.
I wonder if you with it would it be a scrap?
That's the I'd invite Noel over. I think if I wanted to sit down and have a conversation about music, I'd want to talk to Noel. But if I want to go on a night out, I'd go with Liam.
Yeah,
Then probably Alex Turner.
yeah.
And who else? Maybe Dolores O'Riordan, to be honest with you.
That would be interesting, yeah.
Just have a female at the table, like, you know, so it's not best.
That would be really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how are you dealing with the current impact of COVID-19 as a new Irish artist starting out on the Dublin music scene? And has there been any challenging incidences with the release of your debut single coming up?
It's been kind of weird, like, you know, because whereas before I could go out and I could, you know, just tell, like, you know, you could go out and do a gig, like, you know, I'd be gigging maybe every month or so. I wasn't extremely regular gigging just because because I'm in work and I'm in college, like I wouldn't actually have a lot of time to do it. But if a gig popped up, I'd definitely go and do it. And, you know, I would have imagined that if I was able to do gigs now, even if it was like just in a pub, I was doing it. But I rang a couple of pubs in my local area saying, hey, you're taking live music? And they just said, no, we're not taking any live music at the moment. There's only one pub that I know that was taking music. It was a pub in town that I walked by, and I walked in and asked them, they're like, here, we've got too many acts, like, you know, we're not actually taking names anymore because there's such a long list of people that want to come in and play, just to play for the sake of playing.
Yeah.
You know, so the biggest part has been definitely not being able to gig, because, like, you know, you can tell people, I'll go and listen to my song, and they're like, yeah, well, and then they won't. Whereas if you just give it to them directly, and they go, oh, actually,
people would gig with the with the upcoming release or something, like, you know.
Yeah,
Normally give a gig for it.
like, you know, because there's not a lot, especially like I said before, I'm actually quite lucky, whereas I'm in a job, so I don't actually have to worry about really making money back off this. Even though I've spent quite a lot of money, I'm still kind of in a position where I'm fine if I don't make any money off it. Like, if people buy off iTunes and I get €10 back off it, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, buy on iTunes, everybody. But yeah, like I'm kind of lucky enough to not be in a position where if this doesn't make me money back, I'm kind of breaking and my music career is over. You know, I'm lucky in that sense, but I would have loved to have been able to go out and play the song live a couple more times, because it's only been played live really 2 times.
Yeah.
The crowd, like, you know, once was in a small room with only 6 people, and one of them being a teacher, and then once was in front of a massive crowd of about, no, I think it was about 100 people that were there. That got a great reception, and I'd just love to share the song a lot more, but obviously we can't do that at the moment. So, you know, that's been tough. And like, I've been trying to email everybody I know in the music scene, you know, saying, hey, will you give it a chance? Will you give it a listen? Give it a pre-save? I've been really trying to push it on my friends to pre-save it, and also if they could just screenshot it. And like, this goes for anybody now as well. Watch it if you'd like to show a bit of support. The best things you can do for me is just stream the song. If you're on the bus, if you're about to put on a playlist, if you could just give it a quick stream and give it a listen. If you could put it in your playlist, it would really, really help. Again, like I said before, if you could buy it on iTunes or Tidal, I don't know who actually uses Tidal, but you can buy it. You can buy it on Amazon. That's pretty cool. If you could go out and buy it in any capacity, that would be a massive, massive help for me as well. It would show that, like, you know, it's been worth doing, like, you know, putting this much effort, money into it, not just for this song, but for some other songs that are coming out later this year. But yeah, it's just difficult. It's kind of difficult to promote it. So, like, I've been trying to get a hold of radio shows. Like, I actually spent half an hour, 45 minutes last night emailing different radio shows and radio stations and producers, anything I could find on the internet. Just emailing them, going, hey, I know I'm probably not emailing the right email. Is there any way there's a show or there's a producer or a presenter that would listen to any new music and just kind of give it a shot? And, you know, here's my socials. If I need to be emailing somebody else, please let me know. Just stuff along the lines of that, just to try and get it out there and just get word out there, because I haven't got a massive following online. I've got a following of about 6,500 followers, I think, it's something like that, which is it's a nice amount. Like, you know, it's not. I would like to have more. You know, I'd like to have over 1,000 by the time I'm releasing more music, or you know, by the end of the year. I did say to myself at the start, like, you know, when I started taking it a bit more serious, I'd like to. It's not even just to kind of boost my ego, but it's more just about being able to promote and for visibility. I'd like to get my followers up to somewhere around 1,000 by the end of the year. And I know that's a bit of a high horse to be reaching, but there's more music to come.
Yeah.
It's doable. There's people who have grown much bigger in much less time. So,
Exactly.
I'm still kind of putting myself at that goal.
On the music and you get there.
Without buying followers.
Yeah. So, like you mentioned there, like, like you're encouraging people to use like Spotify and Apple Music to pre-save the single and to buy it on iTunes as well. So obviously social media is now currently playing a huge part in the whole music industry. So how do you think social media has impacted the music industry during a global pandemic where live events and music are just currently in pause?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been an absolute essential, really. Like, because without it, we wouldn't be. If you think if something like this would have happened 20 years ago, like even just 20 years ago, when the internet wasn't a mainstream thing and everybody didn't have a Bebo account 20 years ago, it's just it wouldn't have the same effect. Like even the fact that you can communicate with your favorite bands by leaving a comment, but even you can even message most of your favorite bands. Now they probably won't see it.
Twitter on yeah.
You can have a look at them on Twitter. Some people's DMs are open. My DMs are pretty open. Like I don't get a lot of DMs, to be honest with you. So I'll see a message if you send it to me. This is just the reality of it. If you send me a message, I will most likely see it. We're kind of lucky in that aspect that you can. It's very easy to get in contact with your idols and people who you do. Like even you can look at that thing with Dave Grohl and that young drummer. Have you seen that? That young girl, she's only like 8 or something like that, and she's having drum off with Dave Grohl, and she's from the UK, and he's in the US, and they're both having drum off, and it's just stuff like that. That could never happen
these days, yeah.
years ago, and it's like people will always talk about the negative impact on social media, but I think it comes with art and that everything is going to have a negative and a positive.
Everything is. And like if you use social media right, you'll get what you want out of it,
Yeah, let's say it depends. It really does depend what you're looking for. Like the likes of live gigs. Like I've done 2 live concerts over lockdown. I've done one on a page called I Stay at Home Ireland, which had a quite large following, and that was my thing. I was like, okay, this is a good kind of stage for me to go on to. I played about 5 or 6 acoustic songs of my own, and I've done 2 covers, and that was really, really good. And then I've done one on my page as well, just to play a few songs, just because I was bored one of the days. It wasn't like a massive big, I'm going to be going and playing. I think I literally just said, go live in an hour or 2, pop in if you're free, because like everyone's at home at the time,
That's a good thing about Instagram as well. Like a lot of artists, no matter how big or small they are, they're using Instagram as a platform to like do all these virtual gigs and like just kind of keep everyone kind of connected as well.
I think if you look at my Instagram is so active, and then if you look, like if anybody anybody is friends with me on Snapchat, like you said, I don't post on Snapchat ever, ever. I'm quite like I post quite a lot on my Instagram story. One, to promote my friends and to give people shout outs, because I love people to do the same for me, and people deserve. I just want to show support to my friends and artists and young bands, because I need support as well. So I appreciate if somebody done it for me, and I'd like to do them the favor as well. So like on my socials, it's just promoting other people's stuff, promoting my stuff, and that's it really. I'm not really that much of a blogger. Even I recorded a video yesterday just to be like, hi, my single's out today, blah blah blah. And I'm dreadful at this sort of stuff. This is fine. It's coming across probably pretty okay. But when it's just me talking to a camera and I'm just looking at myself like
it can be awkward, yeah. It can be awkward. Yeah. It takes a lot of like time and practice to just get confident.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for YouTubers, especially who do it on a daily basis and do it so well. That's where I kind of look to be like, oh, how can I get better at this? Just look at YouTubers and look at what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's good build. Yeah, but like you were saying with social media, like there's always going to be positives and negatives. I think for the music industry, it's had quite a lot of positives recently, but obviously there's some huge negatives as well to social media. But that's going to come with art, and it's like building a motorway or something like that. It's probably a really bad analogy, but everything's going to have a positive and a negative effect. It's huge, and because the internet is such a huge thing and social network is such a massive thing, and it's part of society now. It's weird. Not on social media, so with that massive platform, huge negatives and huge positives, sorry.
They're grand. So like yeah, but like you said, like using like DMs to like chat to your favorite bands. Like even Liam Gallagher is starting to reply to like fans' tweets and all that as well. So I think it's good to have that connection there and just to keep it going while gigs are on pause. So what is your feel good song to distract yourself from a hard time? Because like you mentioned, you had quite a hard few months. But what's the song that lifts your mood?
What You Know by Two Door Cinema Club. I
That's
think
good.
that whole album, Tourist History, is just amazing. It's one of my favorite albums. It's an Irish album by now Irish artists, Northern Irish, but they're Irish.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I absolutely that whole album really stands out. But What You Know is just it's one of them songs when it comes on in the shower, it's like, all right, come on, we're going. I'm having a proper little pop now. Or like I know I don't look like I go running, but I go running. Even just before this interview, I went for a run. And when it comes on, it'll pump you up, it'll get your adrenaline going. I absolutely love the song. I think it's amazing.
I think that's what people need these days, like just to go like a bit of energy boost, like, you know. And
yeah, they're one of the 3 acts that I haven't seen live that I have to go and see live. And I was feeling I only got into Two Wrestling in the Club around November, December last year. I started listening to them, and they had just played a gig in the Olympia, and it didn't even sell out. And I was like, what the hell? I would have went to that in a heartbeat. Like, I was so annoyed that I didn't get
that's the annoying thing. Like, you discover someone new that you really love, and like, oh, I wonder, like, when they're in Dublin next, you just missed them, like, yes.
I was like that with Sam Fender as well. Sam Fender's another one of the guys I haven't seen live yet.
I tried to see him live so many times, and he was always.
He just keeps cancelling on you. I feel bad for you. He keeps cancelling on you specifically. But because I remember I listened to Hypersonic Missiles when it came out, and I listened to like a couple of songs like the week before it came out when there was only 3 songs available on the album, and then the whole thing came out. And I fell in love with the thing, and I learned only about a week before I started listening to him that tickets went on sale for him in the Olympia.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
I got them straight away.
Cancel anyway, so it's not a big deal.
Oh no, I was like, what?
Yeah, but I was
for that gig. But I was seeing.
Sorry.
What?
The 3 bands I need to tick off are Two Door Cinema Club, Sam Fender, and the Killers. And Sam Fender was supposed to support the Killers this year. I've not seen the Killers yet. I know.
Oh, they're so good.
It's a sin.
Yeah. No, but I'm hoping that gig on a high next year with Sam Fender goes ahead.
Yeah, and Jerry Cinema as well.
It would be probably the gig of 2020.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely love it.
2021, sorry, 2021.
Yeah, just cancel it. It's 2020 part 2, basically. That's what it is.
That's it, yeah. So what can people expect from you in the future with the new single coming up?
Well, with the new single coming out.
Oh, the debut single.
The latest single, yeah. But the debut single, really. This one is quite a slow song. It's kind of real moody. Like, it's not gonna be what, you're not gonna be dancing to it in the shower. You're gonna cry to it in the shower if you're gonna listen to it in the shower. That's quite weird.
I'm sorry you can hear sirens there in the background. There's like police going up and down the place. I don't know what's going on.
I actually can't hear a thing of it now. There's dogs on my road. There's dogs in nearly every house, and my dog's outside there. I can hear him every few minutes kind of scratching at the door. Being like, who are you talking to? Sorry, what was the question again?
Sorry, it was what can people expect from you in the future with the debut single?
Okay, so this song is quite a sad song, like being realistic, and you're not going to be sitting in the shower dancing around to it. You're probably going to sit in the shower and cry to it. To be quite honest with you, if you're going to listen to it in the shower at all, if you could listen to it in the shower, that'd be great. If you could listen to it at all. But yeah, this is quite a sad one. But the other songs, there's only kind of one other kind of sadder or moodier song on it. Even at that, it's not as sad as this. This is the saddest song that's coming out. But I'm going to be releasing an EP hopefully in November. I don't want to give away a release date just yet because I haven't got it confirmed. But I have a date that I want to aim for. But everything's recorded. There's 2 songs that are really, really upbeat. One of them is going to be released as a single. It's kind of a slow starter. It'll build up. It's called Picnic in the Sunshine. It's going to start off, so it's going to be the next single as well. So you're going to start. You're going to hear it start, and you're going to go, "This is just another slow song," and then you're going to get halfway through, and you're going to be like, "No, it's not a slow song. It's not. It's grand. It just starts off slow, but it builds up and it builds to a big climax."
That'd be good. I'm really excited. So I'm excited to hear that.
And then there's another one. It's really Arctic Monkeys inspired now. It's not like proper pure Arctic, but I remember writing the song and thinking this is how I just remember getting an Arctic Monkeys vibe off it, So that's probably my favorite song off the whole EP. It's called Fallen Flowers. I'm really, really, really excited for everybody to hear it because I just love it. I love everything about it. I love I love playing it. It's a fun song to play. I love the lyrics to it. I love the guitar solo. There's a guitar solo in the song. It's meant to live a guitar solo. Last year I could barely play guitar solos, but now I have guitar solos myself. It's crazy. But yeah, no, it's starting off slow, but it's gonna be a wild ride. So it's gonna be a lot more upbeat. Don't worry. So don't think, oh, I'm just listening to another sad boy.
Oh, so I'm excited to hear that now. And how do you handle making mistakes during a performance?
Do you know what? I used to hate it. I used to think I was the stupidest person in the world when I made a mistake on stage. It's like, oh, this is my thing. I should know it. But do you know what? Everybody makes
starting out like that just will make mistakes naturally, like, you know.
Yeah, but I think it's something that
the best musicians
don't
still
realize when they start off that everybody has to make mistakes. But even in life, not even just in music, you gotta make mistakes to learn. You know, and you won't grow unless you make mistakes. Like, you know. And it's the reason I didn't release any music onto Spotify until now, because I've been writing songs for the last year and a half. And, you know, I had songs that at the time I thought were great. And I was like, this is the best thing ever. And then I'd come back and listen to it 2 weeks later and be like, oh no. And then I'd listen to it about 2 months later and be like, okay, what was I even thinking with that? Yeah. You know, whereas I wasn't getting that off the stuff that I'm bringing out now. You know, and it's why I kind of held off. I said, and this is why I released a few songs onto SoundCloud, and I tried to make a bit of a deal of them. Like, I'm like trying to do a release, you know, and like, 6 p.m. on a Monday. I tried to do on odd days as well, just to see what it was like. You know, and I wanted to actively make mistakes. I wanted to try my best and say, okay, this is working, this is not working, and how can I better do this in the future, and how can I learn from it? And it's like acting, like, you know, when I first played gigs, I made mistakes. I'd strum the wrong chord, or I'd stop out of nowhere. Like, that's what I done. That one of the first gigs I ever played. When I like had a guitar. So I played a gig before where I just sang, and then one of the first gigs I ever played where I had a guitar, and I was singing at the same time. I was doing some lead stuff, and I made a mistake. And it was just an acoustic guitar and me. So, and I was chasing cars from Snow Patrol. I know it's one of the easiest songs. Any guitarist watching, like, how did you make a mistake playing Chasing Cars? I made a small mistake. Stopped, and like for 5 seconds, dead silence. I really tightened up, and then my voice was really nervous. But it's just like that, and you gotta be open to making mistakes. And I feel like, you know, if I feel now, whenever I go on stage or whenever I'm gearing up to perform, even if it's my friends come over and I'm gonna say, hey, listen to this song, I'm prepared to make a mistake. I'm gonna say, I'm probably going to make a mistake at some stage here, but it's fine. Just keep pushing on and just make it look like you meant it. You know, make it look like, oh, that was supposed to happen. You know, yeah. So sometimes that can be good. Like, sometimes you might sing a wrong lyric live or something like that, and it's actually better. Like, I do find whenever I write a song, I'll sit there and I'll write it. Okay, I'll sing it once or twice, and you won't remember all the lyrics straight away, and I'll actually turn away and I'll try and sing it. But the lyrics might come out differently, and sometimes they're better lyrics that you actually get out of it instead. You know, so I'm very like open. I encourage making mistakes because I feel I'm only going to learn from them.
That's it. Yeah. Like, you don't make mistakes, well, you don't get too far in life, you know. Everyone learns.
That'd be perfect, like, you know.
No. So anyway, Shaun, we're on to the last question of the interview. I just want to thank you so much for your time today. So do you have any advice that you'd like to give to anyone starting out a music career?
Well, I've only started off myself, really. But like, if there's anybody who's sitting there kind of doubting themselves, I was there only a couple of months ago, and only at the start of this year I said I'm going to give up. And honestly, the best thing to do is don't do it for anybody but yourself. You know, because I was sitting there and I was trying to write songs that I thought other people would like, and I hated it. And now I'm starting to write, and then I said, right, I'm writing songs for me and for me only. I don't care if I ever release these songs. I don't care if anything ever happens. I just want to write songs for the sake of me. And I'd really encourage you to just do stuff that makes you happy, because at the end of the day, if it's making you happy, there's no consequence to it. Whereas if you're going to do stuff that's just to please other people and you're not happy with it, and then that fails, then it was all for nothing. You know, so the one thing I would do is just do it for yourself. Don't do it for anybody else.
I have to agree with 100%.
That's the advice I could probably give.
Right, actually, to have.
Yeah.
No. So, Shaun, thank you so much again for your time for this interview. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I want to just wish you all the best with the debut single as well. And I'm sure the EP later in the year will be unreal as well. So thank you so much again. And just want to give like your social media handles out there, just like where people can find you and stuff.
Yeah, so on Instagram, my handle is @Finstagram. My name's Shaun, but my second name's Finn. So Finn, Instagram, XOX. And then on Twitter, my name is Shaun Finn 99. I spelled Shaun SHAUN, not SEAN. So SHAUN FINN. The amount of systems I'm down is Shaun SHAUN, SEAN, and Flynn. Because I'll be on the phone, I'll say Finn and then say Flynn. So I'm down as SEANFLYNN. It's happened so many times over, like, give me thing, but yeah, SHAUNFINN, that's how you spell my name. If you look me up on Spotify, that's where I am, and you'll be able to find links there, and then Finstagram and Shaun Finn 99 on Instagram. So yeah, thanks
and
so
the
much.
debut single Live My Life is out this Friday, September 25th. So I encourage everyone to go stream it, buy it on iTunes, support Shaun. He's been
Untitled.
yeah, titles or whatever you want.
Untitled or Amazon, come on.
And tag them in your Instagram stories as well. And yeah, because like all the promotion will make such a difference to. And
please, if you do stick up on your Instagram story, please do tag me so I can say thank you and so I can repost that. It makes me look better. So please tag me. And I want to say thank you because, like, I do appreciate every little bit of support I get from absolutely anybody.
Oh, my dad's calling me there. I think I have to go.
I always want to say thank you to everybody.
Yeah, Shaun, thanks so much. It's been great talking to you and great catching up.
Thank you very much, Kate. Cheers. Thanks for having me. Have a good
enjoy
day.
the rest of your day. I'll see you. Bye.